What if I told you that you were being financially attacked? You probably think of violent crime when you hear that statement, but it's actually more likely your money is being stolen. Slow-moving stealth bombers flying under the radar. The most dangerous enemy is often the one you don't see coming. So let me show you how this invisible force is robbing you blind and what you can do to stop it. It all starts with wage growth. Your salary might seem like the bedrock of your financial life, but in reality, it's shifting sand. When measured against living costs, real wage growth has effectively stalled since the 90s. That means even if you get a raise, it's probably not enough to cover higher prices for housing, food, or healthcare. At best, you're treading water. At worst, you're falling further behind. And it gets worse when we look at the average American worker who makes just $36,000 a year. Half of their paycheck goes to taxes, and another third to necessities like rent, utilities, groceries, and transportation. That's over 70% of your entire salary gone, before you even get to the fun stuff. For many people, there isn't much left for savings or investments. It's no wonder only 40% of Americans have an emergency fund. But here's where things get really shady. While corporations rake in record profits and hand out raises to top executives, ordinary workers get the short end of the stick. From 2009 to 2018, average hourly earnings rose 21%. But almost half of that increase went to the top 10% of earners, while the bottom 40 saw just a 6% gain. So wages aren't keeping pace with inflation, let alone providing a path to wealth creation. And the problem is getting worse, not better. In fact, the middle class has been completely hollowed out over the last few decades. Consider this. In 1971, the median income for a male high school graduate was around $27,000 in today's currency. So if wages aren't growing and traditional jobs are disappearing, you might think people are becoming poorer. That would be wrong. The sneaky culprit here is inflation. By the time you notice prices climbing, it's already too late. Your money has been quietly eroded away. Think about it. If you earned $1,000 in 1970, you could buy nearly $6,000 worth of goods and services. But today, that same $1,000 only buys you $3,500 worth of stuff. Inflation has diluted the value of your money by over 50% in just the last 5 decades. And if you thought that was bad, just wait. Between 2010 and 2020, the richest 10% of Americans saw their average wealth increase by 24%. But the bottom 50 saw theirs drop by over 10%. We're talking about a massive transfer of wealth from the middle class to the elite few, all happening right under our noses. The reason this wealth drain goes unnoticed is because it's so gradual. You might not feel it every day, but over time, the numbers speak for themselves. In 1979, the top 1% controlled 22% of America's wealth. But by 2016, they held an astonishing 35%. The top 10% now owns more wealth than the bottom 42% combined. You may be thinking this trend will eventually reverse, but don't count on it. Wealth inequality has reached levels not seen since the Great Depression. The gap is widening despite economic growth. What's even scarier is that these numbers might actually understate the true picture. Recent research suggests that the vast majority of new wealth generated over the last few decades has flowed directly to the very top. A mere 13 billionaires now own more wealth than the bottom 42% of Americans. The question you need to ask yourself is, what side of this equation do you fall on? Are you part of the 99% getting steadily poorer, or the 1% whose wealth is skyrocketing? Most people assume they'll just ride the wave and everything will be fine. That's a dangerous bet. The fact is, automation and offshore competition have stripped away many of the protections that once defined the middle class. We've shifted from stable, well-paying jobs to a landscape dominated by precarious gig and contract roles. As companies seek flexibility, workers become expendable. No more lifetime employment or generous pensions. It's every person for themselves. You might be wondering why we keep accepting this new reality. After all, our parents and grandparents didn't put up with these conditions. Well, the truth is we're lulled into complacency by the illusion of choice. You see, we're retold there are plenty of other jobs out there if you do unlike the one you have. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The jobs being added to our economy are low-paying service sector roles. Not only does this shift not replace the jobs being lost, but it also flattens overall wages. On top of that, the media tells us to just invest our way to prosperity. But that advice is riddled with problems. Firstly, with interest rates at historic lows, traditional savings accounts barely keep pace with inflation, meaning your money is slowly losing value instead of growing. Secondly, stock market returns have been fantastic for the last decade, but no one knows what the future holds. Relying on an unpredictable market is a risky gamble. Thirdly, real estate is often touted as a safe investment, but soaring prices have priced out many first-time buyers. And even landlords face rising maintenance and insurance costs. So while real estate can be good, it's not without its challenges. Finally, people assume they can rely on Social Security, but those payments were designed for very different times when people retired later in life. Expectancy was shorter. With longer lifespans, Social Security alone won't cut it. So relying on it for a comfortable retirement is a shaky strategy. Most people fail to recognize that our economic system is stacked against them. The rules were rewritten long ago, but the masses never got the memo. Meanwhile, the elite few benefit from lower taxes, deregulation, and the erosion of labor protections. They play the game rigged in their favor and win big. But for everyone else, it's a losing battle. So what can you do to stop the silent robbery? Like anything, the solution starts with awareness. Must acknowledge the reality of our current economic system. Wages aren't going to save you. The government won't protect you, and the system is designed to concentrate wealth at the top. But that doesn't mean you have to be a victim. You see, the world is changing rapidly, and there's no turning back time. The key to fighting back is looking forward and positioning yourself ahead of the pack. You'll need to cultivate high-demand skills, so you're not stuck in low-paying, dead-end jobs. That means investing in yourself, learning new skills, and staying relevant in a changing marketplace. But you can't stop there. You also need to build multiple streams of diversified income. The old model of working a single job for decades and relying on a pension simply doesn't work anymore. You'll need to embrace entrepreneurship and explore side ventures that amplify your earning potential. Whatever you do, start now, because the earlier you begin, the more time your money has to grow. The harsh reality is, the world won't change to help you. You'll need to take aggressive action to get ahead. That means doubling down on acquiring valuable skills, launching ambitious side hustles, and reinvesting everything you earn back into yourself. Yes, you will have to work hard, but remember, so does everyone else. This isn't about being a worker drone or a passive investor. It's about taking charge and owning equity in the growth sectors of tomorrow. But I know this goes against everything you've been taught. The system tells you to work hard, get good grades, play by the rules, and you'll achieve financial freedom. But I'm here to tell you that story is over. In its place, we must forge a new path. Take risks, explore new skills, hustle relentlessly, and invest aggressively. Only then will you have a chance to beat the squeeze and reach true financial independence. It's time to stop being a worker bee and start thinking like an owner. Don't wait for the system to change. Start today and make it happen for yourself. Remember, relentless action is the antidote to the silent robbery. Are you ready to fight back and win? The world is changing and it won't wait for you. So go out there and take your future into your own hands. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll get ahead.